Lives lately. I'm enjoying teaching through the book of John. We're in John chapter 6 verse 22. On the next day, the crowd that remained on the other side of the sea saw that there had been only one boat there, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but that his disciples had gone away alone. Other boats from Tiberias came near the place where they had eaten the bread after the Lord had given thanks. So when the crowd saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they themselves got into the boats and went into Capernaum, seeking Jesus. Now see, the crowd hung around for a little while, because they saw the disciples leave, but they noticed Jesus didn't get in that boat, and at the time that was the only boat there. So they figured Jesus must still be around. But after a while they don't see him. They figure, well, maybe somehow he got over where his disciples are. So there's some more boats show up and they get in those boats. Verse 25, when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Okay, they can't figure it out, that Jesus actually walked on the water and then got in the boat with the disciples. All right. Jesus answered them, verse 26, Truly, truly, I say to you, you are seeking me, not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. All right. Now, don't overlook the power of food, free food. I've been in churches that would have Bring Your Neighbor Day, and we always had all the women bring their best dishes. We call it potluck, and we always had huge crowds, because if you give away free food, you get huge crowds. Always have, always will. And Jesus said, you like the food. And you got to imagine too, just like with the wine, if Jesus blessed food, that had to be some good food. Remember when he turned the water into the wine? It was the very best wine. Well, when Jesus took those loaves and took those fish and multiplied it, it was good stuff. All right, probably already cooked, prepared. Exactly. Good gourmet style food is what Jesus prepared. So they wanted more of it. That's what Jesus said. You guys are wanting some more of this. 27, do not labor for the food that perishes, but for the food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give to you, for on him God the Father has set his seal. He's saying, look, that stuff's not nearly as important as the food that leads to eternal life. He's going to explain this in a minute, but he says on him God the Father has set his seal. In other words, God is approving of what the Son is doing. He's given his authority also. The seal represented as authority. Verse 28, he's saying he's the Son of God, basically, is what he's saying. But I don't know if they're going to catch it. Verse 28, then they said to him, what must we do to be doing the works of God? Now they're asking a works question. They want to do the works of God. And remember, these are Jews who've had the law for hundreds of years. And so they're just wanting to know, what do we need to do? Verse 29, Jesus answered them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent. That's it. There isn't any other work you can do that will lead to eternal life. It's believing in Jesus. That's what he said back in John chapter 3. Alright? Same gospel. Verse 30, so they said to him, then what sign do you do that we may see and believe you? What work do you perform? Our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Jesus then said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. They said to him, Sir, give us this bread always. All right. And we're about to run out of time, but I want to make a little bit of a point here, and we're going to have to get right back into this conversation Jesus is having with the Jews next time. All right. I don't think they're discounting what they saw as a sign. I believe they know that was something special. But because Jesus had kind of downplayed it, they're not really getting it. They wanted more food. They knew Jesus could create it, but Jesus said, "Don't work for that kind of food." So they're saying, "Well, what is it you want us to do, and then what are you going to do?" And he said, "Look, our fathers ate the manna in the wilderness." And Jesus pointing out, "Yeah, you know who gave you that? My dad, God." Again, he's telling them that he is the Son of God, and they're still kind of missing it. And he's saying the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to us. So he's saying now that he is what they really need. They don't need a special miracle. They just need him. Okay? God sent manna in the Old Testament. He fed this multitude in the New Testament, took care of their needs. Well, what they really need is Jesus himself. All right? He's going to go specifically into that next time, but I'm way over, so you're going to have to come back on the next edition of Take 5.